So something that I get asked all the time is, how did I grow my social media platforms from 0 to 240k followers in just 14 months? Now, it took consistency, and consistency requires discipline. But we often think of discipline as forcing ourselves to do things that we hate, but I actually think it's the opposite. Let me explain. But firstly, my name is Mia McGrath. If you don't know who I am, I love to talk about all things personal finance and investing. Not just that, things like self-improvement. While some of my habits may appear extreme to others, I don't think that I would have achieved some of the things that I have done by age 24, like a 6-figure net worth, my first 5-figure month, gifting from YSL, Prada, getting invited to brand events, and getting my first 5-figure brand deals. While luck and privilege comes into it, all of these things would not have happened without consistency and discipline. So today I am breaking down the unsexy shortcuts that you need to take in order to build the dream life that you want. So to start, people often associate discipline with struggle and hardship and doing things that you don't like to do. They think that discipline is punishing yourself. For me, it's the exact opposite. I enjoy the hard things in life. This involves saving money. I enjoy saving money. I look forward to putting my savings aside every single month. Keeping my space tidy, because I think that how organized your space is a direct reflection of how organized your mind is. I enjoy getting my 10,000 steps a day, doing all of these things naturally because those things have positive benefits for me and I find enjoyment doing them. Making content daily, coming up with ideas, making videos, it's something that I have an impulse, an addiction to do. It's not something that I have to force myself to do. I know this may sound very harsh to say, but I'm always like your big sister that gives you that harsh advice. Successful people do not have to force themselves to do the things that they want to do. They enjoy doing the hard things. If you're trying to find motivation or reasons to do things that you don't naturally want to do, then you might want to think about your goals. Like, do you actually have the right goals in mind, the things that you actually want? Or are you just following what society wants of you? This kind of attitude towards my way of life is so apparent when I make TikToks, which obviously is short form content, so people are going to take things out of context or whatever. But when I talk about things that I don't spend money on, for example, pets, I made a video where I say that I don't really want to spend money on pets in my 20s because, one, I'm renting. Number two, there's lots of hidden costs. I grew up with cats and I know that, you know, if they have pre-existing health conditions, if you rescue them, then, you know, it could be £1,000 here on a random operation. When I talk about the things that I don't want to spend money on, I always get the same reaction. Live a little, make the most of your 20s, you could die tomorrow. And I totally get that attitude. I make the most of every day. I enjoy life to its fullest. What I won't be doing is spending irresponsibly because that's what's expected of me. I don't enjoy buying things. Yes, you'll see me on Instagram having a nice time. Like, I have nice things. I invest in quality. I invest in things that I think will bring value to my life, but I don't engage in consumerism as a hobby. I'm not trying to sound like I'm better than anyone else. I have been a shopaholic when I was younger. I would have parcels coming in left, right, and center. You know, when you literally forget like what you ordered because you've ordered so much. Like, that used to be me. I don't rely on that for happiness anymore because I have other things in my life that bring me more happiness, especially things that I create rather than consume. For me, making the most of my 20s means pursuing my dreams relentlessly. It's about building a sustainable life that I want, that gives me freedom and choice, as opposed to transient things that can fade or clutter your space. Okay, so how do you kind of get this discipline or this mindset? How do you go from average habits to building your dream life? Here is the step-by-step framework that I use that I think is pretty universal for anyone to follow. Number one is redefine discipline. As I said earlier, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is a collection of actions that you take towards a set goal. And your goals could be conscious or unconscious. You could actually think that you want a certain life, like whether you want to wake up at 5 a.m. or do a workout then and then work on your business first thing in the morning. Like, you may think that you want to do that, but underneath it all in your subconscious mind, you might actually want an easy life. Maybe you want a soft life, or you have these two conflicting ideas, and that is why you're not able to achieve what you want, because you think that you want something, but actually you want something else. So get really clear on what you actually want, because I guarantee that you are already disciplined in some way. You're already working towards a certain goal, whether it's binging Netflix. That's also a ritual. You're doing something repeatedly to have an end goal, whether it's to find that perfect level of entertainment. Same with staying up late to scroll on TikTok or playing video games. These are all things that may be actually difficult for someone that doesn't want to do those things. Take, for example, like your parents, you know, they would not spend 12 hours playing a video game because number one, they may not know how to. Obviously, I'm generalizing here. Yes, we take these things as easy in life, like because they have that instant gratification. You are playing video games because it's easy. More difficult things for someone that doesn't feel like that comes naturally for them. Therefore, you already have these rituals that you're doing. So it's about making the right rituals work for you. If you want a soft, easy life, that is totally fine and there's nothing wrong with that, but your actions will probably follow suit. You will probably do the bare minimum. You probably won't have a side hustle. I too want a soft life, but I realize it has to come through hardship first. So discipline is not waking up at 5 a.m, having a cold shower, all these things that we think discipline is. We are already being disciplined in the area that we think that we're moving towards. Changing your goals will change your discipline. Number 2 is being disgusted with the opposite outcome. For me, it was the fear that the next 6 months or 12 months would look exactly the same. I am not here to bash on anyone that does a 9 to 5 because I've done a 9 to 5 for the last 2 years, but eventually I just had enough. And I kind of realized that yes, there's progression. Yes, there's new things that you can learn or you can move jobs, but I did not want the same routine for the next 6 to 12 months. I wanted something different. That's just completely my own experience, but you might have something similar where you have a turning point where you feel like you just don't want that anymore. You have like, it could be a breaking point or it could be a low point or burnout. It could be whatever it is, but you probably have had or currently are having a moment where you're like, this is enough. I want a different life. And when you have that realization, that is the perfect switch you need to take action. For you, it could be health scares, financial insecurity. What I have learned is that knowledge makes bad choices harder to make. When I learned more about bad decisions like unhealthy eating or bad habits like smoking, like the actual effects that it has on your body, it put me off them. And I think that's the easiest way to like trick your brain into not wanting to do things, is just learn why it's bad. And of course, like, this doesn't make any sense because yes, there's been so much education around smoking and like we know how bad it is for us, and you'll see those pictures on a packet of cigarettes and still choose to do it. So don't get me wrong, I know that a certain level of education is not going to stop you from wanting to do those things, but really becoming almost scaring yourself to a point where you physically cannot do it anymore. For example, I wanted to start eating healthier, so I read Ultra Processed People. And once I learned what they actually put in those processed foods like crisps or like those long shelf life products, getting crisps with my meal deal, for example, was an easy fix for me because I no longer wanted it. These things became automatic. Same with when I wanted to improve my sleep. I read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. That book completely changed my life. Yes, it did make me a little bit paranoid about my sleep, but getting 8 hours of sleep and trying to eat more vegetables is not an extreme thing. Oh, you're like some health freak now. No, these are very normal things, but in our society of instant gratification and social media and stuff like that, these things have now become abnormal. Educating yourself on the thing that you don't want to happen, whether it's having a serious health condition, become more aware of what could happen with the opposite outcome that you actually want. It will force you to pursue the thing that is good for you. Number 3 is fall in love with the process. When you enjoy it, it stops feeling like work, and you'll actually feel the opposite. When you're not doing it, you'll feel uncomfortable, like you are missing a part of yourself. Like I feel this way right now. I'm on holiday and I am making this YouTube video, and I know that sounds crazy. Like I should just completely switch off my phone, and for the most part I've been like completely switching off, relaxing. But it's gotten to a point where I feel an urge, like I have a craving to make content and talk about these things. So I don't have to force myself to do it. I am forced to by this urge to want to do it. So let's talk about my routine when I was making content alongside my 9 to 5. So I would get up sometimes at 5 or 6 a.m. I would quickly brush my teeth, get ready, and then I would go straight into filming content. And sometimes I would not have time to have like a full breakfast at home. I would like buy things at work, make it at work, or I'd eat something quickly before I left. But the priority was making content. And I know a lot of people would look at that and say that's not healthy. You should be doing other stuff with your time, like working out or having a proper like full cooked breakfast. I don't know. But I know a lot of people, like working people, do not have time to like have a long morning routine anyway. The key is I knew for that year where I was like grinding, trying to make this work, I knew that required short-term sacrifice. That required me to not have the perfect morning routine that I wanted to fit every single thing in, which was work, a workout, and then all of these things. I knew that it required me to have an unsexy lifestyle, to, maybe have a bit of a messy kitchen for some days because I was using that time to do other things. It's now meant that because I've quit my 9 to 5, I will have a lot more time to actually build like my dream routine, my dream day. Like I can choose when I want to work. I can work from wherever. And that is a kind of freedom that I just never thought that I would have. But I did not have to force myself to make content. I wanted to. And I know what you're thinking. You feel the same way as me and it's still not working. You're making content consistently and it's still not working. Well, that is true. You can't just post anything. You can't post into oblivion and expect amazing results every single time. I still get videos that flop. We often forget as creators that we're not guaranteed views. We're not owed anything, and you're constantly having to prove yourself and hone in on your skills. Basically, the core of this message is you have to love what you're doing so much that you could potentially give up other things. And I'm not trying to encourage like a toxic like mindset. I'm just simply saying that sometimes these things require a short-term sacrifice of a lot of discipline concentrated into a short window of time so that you can have that freedom later on. And I'm not saying that you're guaranteed to work and do this for a year and you're going to have the same results as me. It's just saying that if I have done something, it means it is possible. So yes, that is the level of obsession that you need to have, unfortunately. And if you don't feel that obsessed about the thing that you're trying to pursue, it may be because it's someone else's dream. Whether it's your parents, your peers, or your environment, you may be pursuing something because you think that that's what is expected of you, not what you truly want. And if you truly want something, you will not have to force yourself to do it. Think about it. You don't force yourself to watch Netflix or order Deliveroo. These things happen naturally because you want to do them. The same goes for the harder things in life that you want to achieve. They're not going to happen by force. You are going to literally crave doing them. Number 4 is educate yourself on the benefits. Like you educated yourself on the negative things that could happen if you did not pursue your goals, also educating yourself on the benefits. For example, a lot of people can't get past the salaried mindset. And I know that I was the exact same, like been working like a 9 to 5 for the last 2 years. I'm literally such a baby in terms of life. Like me, including everyone else, could not believe that like a fellow creator could not make 30k in a month, but it is totally possible. But because you're in that salaried or paid by hour mindset, you just can't believe that it's justified or even possible for someone to even do that. Once you understand models, systems, and leverage and how social media actually works, and you can actually fathom how this is possible for you. It's the same with your health, habits, or finances. A lot of people can't get ahead financially, not because of the amount of money that they make or have, it's because of financial literacy. Education holds the key to everything. Once you know the benefits of what you're trying to achieve, it makes it so much easier to have motivation to achieve it because you believe it's possible. If you believe something is possible, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. The way that I've incorporated this into my system or my content creation strategy is learning about things like copywriting, marketing funnels, landing pages. And yes, mine aren't anywhere near where they should be, but the key is I am curious. I am learning about these things. I think that's the difference between someone that is making content, and not to criticize anyone else, but I think when you're doing it alongside your 9 to 5, it's hard to innovate and be creative. You're kind of posting to post, and you actually like go beyond that and you become so focused on every single bit of content. You know exactly why it works, how it works, you have strategy behind it. I think that's what sets some people apart, and I'm not saying that I'm always like that. I think I've only incorporated that recently, but I just obviously want to share that bit of mindset because I think it truly helped me to go from just posting what you think you ought to post and what's repetitive and what's working, instead of doing that, innovating and thinking what would actually take this to the next level. Number 5 is designing your environment so that it becomes easy to be disciplined. You're not lazy, your environment is just set up wrong. I don't find it difficult to not eat junk food like crisps or sweets because I don't buy them in my weekly shop. Yes, before anyone says anything, yes, I have these things if I'm at a party with friends or just having a treat day, but day to day I just don't consume these things. My tripod is always in sight so that I create content daily. While that may seem extreme and like I should take a rest, this is how I got to where I am and I enjoy it. So yes, take this advice with a pinch of salt. I'm not asking you to burn out trying to make content that you don't want to make. The whole point of this video is you're trying to do something that you already want to do. Make your environment a place where you want to achieve the things that you want to achieve. If it's leaving your workout mat right next to your bed, do that. Reduce the friction that it takes to do it. Obviously, I am not some superhuman. There's things in my life that aren't perfect. For example, I kind of like neglected my fitness for the last year. I'm not unhappy with the way I look. It's more about how I feel. I know the impact of not working out. So when I say I've had some success with content, I don't think that anyone could do it all. And I strongly believe that. I don't think that you can have an amazing social life, a great relationship, a great workout, and do a 9 to 5 all alongside that. Like, I totally agree that you do not have time or space for everything. And that's why I'm saying that it took a year of sacrifice to build something like this so that I had more freedom to focus on other things in my life. The last year, I've traded the easy route, which was relaxing after my 9 to 5, doing more social things, because I wanted this long-term goal, and now it's freed up my time so that I could do those things if I wanted to. So has it been exhausting? Yes. Sometimes there'll be days where I'll be at an event because I took a day of annual leave, and I'll literally get an email from a brand deal saying like, we want this content by 4 p.m. and I'm out. So there's a lot of things that like put pressure on me to do these things alongside a 9 to 5, but it was worth it. And the only reason it happened is because I wanted to do it. And again, to reiterate, discipline is not doing something that you don't want to do, finding out what you want to do, and therefore discipline will follow because you have this identity, because you have this drive to do a certain thing. So discipline isn't about willpower. It's not about motivation either, because that can fade. It's about making the hard thing easy. Do that, and like money, everything else compounds. I wish I'd started content sooner. I wish I'd started on this whole journey of personal finance sooner. Stop waiting for the right time, the right aesthetic, the right background. If you want to make content, you want to make this work, you can do it. Enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on further content from me.